mean, can any intro ever beat that intro? To me personally, I don't think so. Nostalgia is a great thing, but man, just comparing them bikes to what we have now in real life even, and just the racing, just the feel of that. There's a reason why a lot of people are wanting Namco to have the rights back. This, of course, is Motogp, and this is the first Motogp game I ever played. And today, we're going to play it again and see how it holds up 26 years later, and I'm pretty excited. This is the game that started it all for me back in what looks to be 2000, judging by the release. I think this game came out in 1999, but it was the 2000 video game, if that makes sense. Today, we're going to do a few laps here in Donington as a Repsol Honda. Still to this day, this livery here on the right of the screen is one of my all-time favorite Repsol liveries. It's just holds somewhere deep down inside, just holds something on for me. So we're going to jump onto this one and we'll do a race. We just want to talk about how basically back in the day this game was the start of it all for me. Here we are. I hope it comes okay across on YouTube because I'm playing this through an emulator. I'll say throughout these years the games have gotten graphically better, the physics have gotten better, but they've lost something that these old Namco games definitely had, and that was just this feel, because the air horns to my left, the big crowds, the feeling that you're actually at a big sporting event that unfortunately the current milestone games just don't really get that across on screen really, whereas this one for me, obviously the music you can turn on and off, and the Namco games were so special for just the feeling they gave. Obviously they were limited back then by their, shall we say, the time of the games really, but these are a special game, and I remember playing hundreds of millions of hours of this game, and I must say this track is not that far off. I thought it'd be worse, to be honest, coming through Coppice here, and it is absolutely incredible to be back on this game. Hearing the air horns to my left in my headset, wheelie as we come across the Dunlop Bridge, and we're going to go and race this track in a minute because those foggies is tight in this one. I remember back in the day, you probably won't see it now until we get into the racing, but the riders used automatically look behind, and I remember as a child trying to press every single button combination to get the rider to look back, so I thought it looked cool, and it wasn't something you could do, but I figured out a way to do it on this track by crashing into a wall and respawning, and he'd look behind. So I'm going to try it on the next lap. But how incredible is this game? Still 26 years on, that it's still not a bad game in my eyes. I could happily play this for hours on end, I still think. Donington maybe a touch too wide, if we're being honest, but I'll forgive them for back in the day. These old Namco games, they have something about them, just the feel, just the enjoyment was there. Up until obviously GP4, Motogp 4, we all know is one of the OGs and the real great games. Another Namco one again that had the feeling, and kind of from there on, I didn't really play a lot of them, as basically I was limited with having a PS2 back in the day, and I didn't get an Xbox until about 2010, which meant that after kind of Motogp 4, my next game was 0910, that kind of mess of a game, which at some point will be featured on the channel. I'll definitely do a video with 0910 and 1011, as I actually don't hate them, but I know that they're not, shall we say, revered as one of the best. But we're going to do our little trick here. See, can we get our rider to look behind? It revolves going straight on here, hitting this wall. We should spawn somewhere over here, and as we ride back onto track, he should look behind. This is a magic we're pulling out 26 years later. If he does it, this would be pretty cool if he does it. Maybe he only does in the race mode, but we're going to try again in the race. But basically, a 4 or 5 year old me back in the day figured out that if you crashed at Foggy S's, he'd spawn on the other side track and look behind, and it was very cool. But this game just holds just good memories to me, just because I remember this game as a child, playing this probably for many hours, too many at the time, and this is where it all started for GP. But we've done a few laps here and I'm up to speed somewhat, so let's jump into a race now and see how good this game is in actual racing terms. Even here in the menu, just going through the bikes, just such fond memories of bikes of years gone by. Just of course the Repsol, just look at that, beautiful. Then you have the 500 YZR, just the Yamaha, that classic livery, and then you get this Suzuki, just look at that, like that is just perfection. And then we get the Abe's Yamaha, we have the Aprilia, And then you get the Motogp Honda back in the day. Like, what a classic livery. I remember this is one of the starter bikes from the career mode. Ask me how I know, because I remember from 25 years ago playing as this in the career mode, funnily enough. And then you have the kind of Moto Honda, that really nice blue. And just all these bikes that stand out to me. They just, each one I remember playing so many years ago. But we are going to go. I'm going to go with the Motogp because this holds a lot of something in me as well, like the other bikes, just because it was such a prominent bike you play in career, so I probably played on this a lot more than maybe some of the other bikes. So here we are now, back to the grid, P21, and it's been a shocking start. Back here at Donington Park. Now, from memory, there was a way you could turn on the riders' icons and they'd have their head above them, so you could see who's who instead of the rider name. Something I always thought was very cool. When you pass like the Crevier and Doohan, you'd have Doohan above their head, but can't seem to find that in the settings. Oh, there it is, just on cue. Thanks, game. Even 25 years later, this game still gets on very well with me. We've Simon Crayford, 2 bikes in front. He is now the current head of the officials for the Grand Prix at the moment, for the marshals and the stewarding. One thing I'll note as well on the next lap is watch the plane as you go through the old hairpin. It's kind of like every lap you go through there, a plane flies over from East Midlands Airport. We're going to go for lunch on Crayford. Cardosa, Van der Holberg next. His son is currently in Motor 2 Zonta. Alright, we're going to do our trick this lap. Let's see if we crash. Can we get him to look behind? See, look the way they look behind. Oh, that was so cool. My small brain as a child hasn't grown much since, but we're going to hit this wall. And let's hope when he spawns, he has a quick look over his shoulder. Come on. Hey! That's 25 years of something there. Come back out and I found that one. That's a little Easter egg for me more than anything. We'll go for the lunge on Aoki. One of 7 Aokis. I felt like we were back in the day on these bikes. Right, let's see what we can do. I have the difficulty on normal. Don't know what that would mean in terms of my level. There's my teammate in front. We'll go around him and then Kaczynski up ahead on the Kanemoto Honda. Most games I hate music, but on this it just feels right. Around the outside on the brakes. Yeah, I love it. We've Sete in front back when he was on that was the weird kind of V2 NSR, the slightly different one if memory's correct this year. Regis Laconi in front on the WCM. On the outside, Granite Curbs, ignore the grass cutting. Harada next on the Aprilia. Watch the plane, watch the plane. Oh, so it's not every lap. Unless it's to do with the leaders maybe, but I thought it was every lap. But we're going to go for a bit of a lunge up the inside. I think it's a cool feature having the rider's picture. Obviously in the modern day a lot of these things probably don't work as well, but I just think back in the day having, like, you could see who Kenny Roberts was, and it was just, I thought it was really, these games had a lot of things that were very cool, maybe not functional in the world we live in today, but I think it was very cool. Like Doohan always had his red hat on. I always thought it was weird that he had a hat on and seemingly no one else did. Cut the corner slightly. And wait till we get to Abe. Abe, if my memory correct, has long hair that kind of pokes out from the back of his helmet and you can see it blowing in the wind. We'll see if we get close to him. There it is. Look at his hair. Like, again, little details. Little details make these games amazing. Obviously, Namco being an Asian studio, and look at that. Look at his hair. Oh, it's so cool. Nice lunge into final corner to Goddard's. Next up is Biaggi. We have a 4-lap race, so we're doing pretty well. Okada leaving on the Honda. Going to fourth. Getting up to a bit of speed. Oh, Crivia has on, so maybe it's just a factory Repsol Hondas. You can see as well the sparks as well from either the boot or the pegs grinding down. Small features. Obviously you don't see that much anymore in real life, but back in the day it was very cool. Going over the lunge. Oh, and then you crash into him. Here comes the plane. No, maybe the plane isn't actually every lap. Maybe my memory of that is wrong, but I thought it was every lap you go through you'd have the plane fly over. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you have played this game at some point in your lifetime. Is it one of those games that it's just heavily being remembered differently for me, so I feel like it's way better than it is? Or is it something that is one of the cult classic GP games? Because it's something I've always remembered very fondly because it was the first ever MotoGP game I played, and to see the likes of Doohan, Crevier, Biaggi and all the top riders in a game and have their pictures, and sometimes you pass them as well, they look back to you. I always thought these small little details were very cool. how it felt so live back in the early 2000s, which I imagine it definitely played into why I still think it's such a great game now, because it just has such a nice feel to it. But there, another plane there taking off, so maybe the plane is on like a timer and it takes off different points, because I always remembered it just being at the old hairpin. But as we go to the last corner there, taking off, even though actually I think the plane takes off in the wrong place there, if I have to guess, judging from where I saw the planes taking off a couple of weeks ago when I was at the Superbikes. But nonetheless, we're flying along here on our Motogp Honda. Even the graphics back in the day, just the old early 2000s GP graphics, they just felt right. The numbers, the fonts, everything was just a little bit special. I think, again, very heavily being altered here by nostalgia, but still, I just look at the stuff we have now and I just don't think it's as good, really, personally. It's all too boring and office-like and business-like and trying to be sensible, whereas I think back in the day everything was a bit more colourful and exciting. I get stopped into foggies. We're struggling with foggies. It's really tight. I don't know how tight it was back in 1999, but that feels exceptionally tight, not gonna lie. One corner to go, and my first win on this game in 20 years maybe. I can't remember the last time I actually played this game. Would have been probably long after the game came out, because I didn't get Motogp 4 till it was brand new. So I went from this to Motogp 4, and obviously that was a big gap of a couple of years. I remember playing one of the games back in the day. We had the thing called the PlayStation magazine, where you get a disc with like 10 games on it, and you get like 2 or 3 minute demos. And one of the demos would have been not the year after, probably with Motogp 3, if timeline is accurate, where Rossi was on the V5 and you got to play as him at Suzuka in the rain, and I always thought that was incredible to play that. So it's really fun to go back to these games. But let me know in the comments down below if there's any other games you'd like me to see. That was a nice pass there on the grass, you love to see it. And let me know what was your first Motogp game and what games hold such memories as this does to me, because I am very interested in at some point going back through and playing a lot of them. Obviously last year I did a video where I did like 10, 12 games in one video, and that went down quite well. So I'd say a lot of these games would be pretty good and fun to go back and play. But anyway, we're going to leave it there. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next in terms of a retro bike game. Doesn't have to be GP, can be Superbikes, of course. And I shall catch you all in a future video. Thanks for watching. Slán go fóill buachaillí.